from Newcastle, the Field House. It is IHSAA regional basketball action. 3A, Delta versus Blackhawk Christian. And now it's a breakdown of the Blackhawk Christian Braves starting lineup under Coach Matt Roth. Riker Knox is a 5'8 sophomore that scores 4.8 points per game. Kyler Wood, a 6-foot sophomore, 3.6 points a contest. Jaden O'Neal, a 6'4 senior at 7.7 points per game. Elliot Cummings, a 6'1 sophomore, scores a point a contest. And Drake Sefton is a 6'3 sophomore at 11.3 points per game. For the Blackhawk Christian Braves, scoring 61.8, giving up 54.4. Delta scoring 51.7, giving up 47.2. Blackhawk comes in 20-7 on the season. And the Delta Eagles take the floor with a 15-10 mark, but they are 10-2 over their last 12 games, and they are the back-to-back regional champions, going for their 4th regional title in a row. The shortest trip among the teams here is Delta. Delta located only about 25 minutes away from Newcastle. You've got Carmel coming from the North Indianapolis area, and then Blackhawk Christian and Snyder located only a mile or so apart in Fort Wayne, but they both had to take the trip down to Newcastle to play their regional action here this afternoon, and both, ironically, might be closer to home when they play the semi-state should they advance with victories here at Newcastle. Navy blue and yellow, the color combination for the Delta Eagles. It is a deep royal blue and yellow for Blackhawk Christian. Braves in their white jerseys, Delta in navy. And the teams have been introduced. Our officials set to take the court, working the game here today. In game 1, it's Deion Smith, Kevin McGaha, and Tony Bowman. Into the center circle, Drake Sefton, 6'3", will jump it up against 6'7", Walker Johnson for Delta. Crowd filing in. We're going to see a lot of blue and gold in the seats today. At least a lot of gold. All 4 teams have yellow as part of their color combination. Carmel and Blackhawk actually very similar colors. So it's hard to tell who's here for Blackhawk and who's coming in early to see Carmel. Delta wins the tip. Front court, it is Lynch, high left. They're going to go to Johnson working the post. Immediately they chase him on a double team. They knock it away. It goes out of bounds and belongs to Delta under the basket. 7:48 on the clock. We're in the first quarter, just underway. Class 3A regional basketball. Inbounding is Phillips. Bounces it to Johnson at the top of the key. Outside to Lynch. Lynch looks right, throws left. Here is Lucas Bragg. He'll drive down the right side of the lane, scoop it up off the window and drop it in. Lucas Bragg with a running layup down the right side of the lane to make it a 2-0 Delta lead. Middle of the lane, Sefton. Now in the corner where it's O'Neal. He'll fire a 3. It's no good. It comes off the weak side to Delta's Chase Phillips. Delta right to left. On the bounce, Ryan Lynch, their 5'8 sophomore point guard. He'll take it to the right wing, hand it off to Bragg. Bragg centers the floor and hands to Madden Ramsey. Back to Bragg. He'll fire a 3, and he gets it from the left wing. Lucas Bragg from distance, and a quick 5-0 start for Delta. On the perimeter, Cummings will go up top to Kyler Wood. Wood dribbles off the left wing screen. Big collision. Now high post, Sefton back in the corner to Wood. Wood drops it off. Sefton, a cutter is Wood in the lane, and a teardrop rims in and out, no good. And the rebound to Delta. Eagles leading at 5-0. Minute and a half into play. Front court, Lynch to Bragg. Now on the left wing, it goes to Lynch. Up top, quick touch for Ramsey, right back to Bragg, down low. Johnson turns, goes over the left shoulder with the right-handed jump hook, got fouled And this foul is going to be whistled on Elliott Cummings, the 6'1 sophomore, trying to match up against the big 6'7 freshman post down around the rim. It's going to be free throws for Walker Johnson. Only 45% of the season at the free throw line. Big guy flips the first and swishes it, of course. 6-0 lead for Delta. Johnson with one more at the charity stripe. It's up, and he got them both. Never touched a bit of iron. 7-0. Less than 2 minutes into the regional here at Newcastle. On the dribble, Tyler Wood. Gives on the perimeter to Sefton. Sefton surveys and gives it back outside to Wood. Now right wing to O'Neal. Up top, Wood. Turn around at the foul line, Sefton, and he shoots the 15-footer too strong. And the rebound goes to Delta. With a 7-0 lead, the Eagles in the front court. Lynch works the dribble from the big Trojan logo, and there's a collision underneath the basket, and it's going to be an offensive foul on Walker Johnson, the big man down low. Tried to cut through the lane. Blackhawk intercepted it. Got their body in position and drew the foul away from the basketball. First on Walker Johnson. Knox up top to Wood. O'Neal back to Wood. And it goes to Knox. His three. He got it. Went to the deck. Didn't get a whistle, but he drops in a triple. Riker Knox makes it a 7-3 game. And maybe that takes the lid off the basket for Blackhawk Christian. Ramsey to Lynch. Lynch, top of the key, will pull up and fire and miss it left. Rebound, battled for, and finally the scrum is won by Delta. They'll keep the possession in their front court. Lynch, high right wing, off of a Johnson screen, dribbles at the foul line, hands it off to Phillips, and a pass down low. That's a travel called on Delta. Turnover for the Delta Eagles. We'll give it back to Blackhawk. 4:46 and the clock runs. First quarter, 7-3 ball game. Lynch between the circles to the left sideline. Now goes high post to Sefton. Sefton spins, circles, and gives to a cutter. Nice cut down the lane by Wood, but he missed the layup. Rebound to Delta. Lynch front court. Takes it to the left on a drifting dribble. Now bounces it top of the key to Phillips. Phillips drives, and there's a collision, and it's an offensive foul on Chase Phillips.
Offensive foul on number 5, Chase Phillips.
Second offensive foul, and it's 3 turnovers for Delta. With the score 7-3, about halfway through our first quarter. Blackhawk front court. Riker Knox up top to Kyler Wood. Back on the wing to Knox. Knox takes the dribble to the logo at midcourt and then throws back on the wing to O'Neal. Right back up top to Riker Knox. Knox, right wing, where now it is Kyler Wood. Knox, high post Sefton. Sefton drops it down low, got a man under the basket, and it's a bucket for Elliott Cummings. Good pass, high-low game from Sefton to Cummings, and the Braves have scored 5 straight after falling behind 7-0. Delta front court. Lynch popping out of the high post. Johnson sends it left side to Bragg. Now it's Lynch. Lynch outside the arc to Phillips. Back to Lynch. Lynch calls for a screen. Can't use it. We're down to 3:09 and the clock runs. First quarter, 2-point lead for Delta. Lynch down the lane, stops, fakes, pivots, and throws outside. A good stop in the paint for Blackhawk, and the fans starting to cheer for this defense. Now Johnson's going to bully, and he finds a man wide open across the lane, and the layup is missed, but a foul called. Chase Phillips missed it, and a late whistle is a foul on Blackhawk. The foul, well, it's a quick signal on the foul. So the foul is whistled on Drake Sefton, picks up his first. And the first free throw is good for Delta's Chase Phillips. He's only a 47% free throw shooter, and so far a couple of guys sub 50 at the free throw line, and they are 3 for 3. One more coming, trying to make it a 4-point lead, and that's short. And it bounces off O'Neal, and the tip goes right to Johnson. He was the only Eagle in the vicinity, and he comes away with the ball. And then on a drive to the basket by Lynch, he gets fouled. And this one goes against Jaden O'Neal. Ball came short off the front rim, and it looked like it surprised O'Neal a bit. Didn't have his hands up, and it bounced off his shoulder right to Delta. And now the Eagles with a chance to extend a 3-point lead. 2:40, clock runs, opening quarter, 8-5, Delta the advantage. High post to Phillips. He'll flip it off to Lynch. Lynch cut off at the elbow. Triple team, throws up top to Johnson. All the way to the center circle to Jackson Peters, who has checked in. Peters, hands around the perimeter to Lynch, between the circles to Phillips. Phillips not guarded on the perimeter, gives it up. And quickly Peters gives it right back to Phillips. Phillips between the circles. Bounces it off to Lynch. Lynch, step back triple, no good. O'Neal the rebound, Blackhawk Christian. 2 minutes left, opening quarter. Quickly front court. And a pass far corner. O'Neal firing, and the three to tie, no good. Rebound, battled for and saved under the basket. What great hustle by Riker Knox. And Blackhawk Christian keeps possession. Blackhawk fans appreciate that work on that offensive rebound and then diving to save it under the basket. Blackhawk with the ball, down by 3. High post, it goes to Sefton. He's going to drive on Johnson. Pump fake. And then lay it in right over the top of Walker Johnson. Drake Sefton from in close on the left block. And it's a 1-point game. A 7-1 run by Blackhawk Christian. Minute 18. Clock ticks away. Opening quarter. Pass down low. Goes over the traffic to Phillips under the basket. He'll lay it in. Back to a 3-point advantage for Delta. Minute left here in the first. Knox to the foul line where Sefton, he eyes and fires. Johnson doesn't close out, and so Sefton hits from 16 feet straight out. 10-9, 1-point game. Front court, Delta with 40 seconds to work with, and let's see if they spread it out to play for 1. And that's the signal from Mark Detweiler and the Delta bench. 30 seconds left in the quarter, and they're going to put it on their hip out of midcourt. Blackhawks going to stay back defensively. Now we're down to 20 seconds, and still holding the ball on his hip is Chase Phillips. He'll finally give it off with 14 seconds to Lynch midcourt. Lynch on the dribble from the logo. Bounces it high right wing. Now it's Phillips. Backdoor cut. They get Bragg open. He goes up and had it stripped, and it goes out of bounds with 2.3 seconds. And under the basket, it's Delta basketball. Delta leads it 10-9. And an inbound with 2.3 seconds left in our opening quarter. Certainly the scoring pace favors Delta. Said before, they'd like it in the 40s. Blackhawk Christian like to get this into the 60s. Here's the entry pass. A throw up at the basket by Hutzler is no good, and that will end our first quarter of play. Well, the Eagles raced out early to a 7-0 advantage, but a 1-point game after 1. Delta 10, Blackhawk 9. It's the 3A regional from Newcastle, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. 10-9, Delta leads it by a point as we start our second quarter. Blackhawk Christian with the basketball. And at the logo midcourt, it is Wood. Wood drives all the way down the left side of the lane, and no one stopped ball. Kyler Wood gets to the basket, and the 6-foot sophomore lays it in with the left hand, and Blackhawk has their first lead of the game. 11-10 Braves. Delta front court between the circles is Lucas Bragg. Bragg dribbles left wing up top to Lynch. He'll cross court it. Shot fake by Peters. He'll drive, stop in the paint. Outside, Bragg will fire, and he's got his first bucket. A 3-ball from the left wing for the top scorer for Delta. 35% from distance on the season, and just like that, Delta's back on top 13-11. On the dribble, foul line. Goes out to the wing. This is Elliott Cummings to Sefton, top of the key. Flips back to the wing to Cummings. Cummings at the foul line. Goes down the right side of the lane. Outside to O'Neal. Quick pass to Wood. Wood drives. Spins in the paint. Backs down and just muscles it up off the glass. Kyler Wood with the bucket down low from the left block. Ties it up 13 apiece. Bragg off a screen, top of the key. Throws right wing to Ramsey. He'll give it up to Peters. Peters with the dribble. Left to right, splits the circles, then gives back to Lynch. Bragg gives it off to Ramsey. He'll fire a three. No good. Rebound to O'Neal of Blackhawk Christian. Tied up 13 apiece. 6:16, and the clock runs quarter number 2. Quickly front court, Blackhawk. On the dribble, it is Knox. Outside to Wood. Now on the right wing, Sefton. Gets cut off, so he throws it back out on the wing to Kyler Wood. And as Wood dribbles around a Sefton screen, he gets bumped into, and that's a foul on Delta's Ryan Lynch. First foul of the quarter, so Blackhawk will inbound. Tied up 13 apiece. Exactly 6 minutes left before halftime. Here's O'Neal, left baseline, drives, hangs, gets the bucket, and a whistle for a foul. A chance at a three-point play for Jaden O'Neal, and the foul is the second on Walker Johnson.
Second on the Eagles.
The 6'7" big for Delta. Whistled for his second foul, and O'Neal, a 54% free throw shooter, trying to cap off the three-point play, and a soft shooter's touch rolls in at the foul line for Jaden O'Neal. Blackhawk leads 16-13. Now front court, Delta. Working around the perimeter, they go to Bragg on the left wing. Bragg looks up top between the circles to Lynch. Lynch will patiently dribble to the right and then hand it to Chase Phillips. Back to Lynch. Lynch from the right wing to the foul line. Outside to Bragg. Bragg top of the key. Gets cut off. Good defense by Sefton. Now Phillips bounces it down low. Johnson throws it across the lane, and he's got Chase Phillips open, and he'll make the catch and the reverse layup. It's 16-15. 1 point lead now for Blackhawk as Delta scores down low. Blackhawk has doubled Johnson every time he gets it in the low post, and Johnson, to his credit, has looked for the open teammate. There's a bad pass by Sefton, trying to get it down to the basket, and he left it short, and it's intercepted. Delta front court down by 1. And a pass to the wing, deflected by Sefton. It goes out of bounds right near the Blackhawk bench, and it stays Delta basketball. Blackhawk 16, Delta 15. 4:47 left first half. Lynch on the dribble, gives on the perimeter to Chase Phillips. He'll flip it to Ramsey. Ramsey back to Phillips. Phillips cut off near the right elbow, outside to Bragg. Now the left wing to Lynch. They'll go to the post. We'll see where the double comes from. He's looking for it. There isn't a double, so Johnson turns, and as he goes up with the basketball, he's fouled, but he passed it off. So the foul is whistled against Elliott Cummings, and that's his second. But since he passed it, there's no shot, so it'll be out of bounds under the basket to Delta, trailing by 1. Inbound Phillips. Johnson at the left elbow. Outside to Lynch, top of the key. Ryan Lynch had it knocked away, but it goes right back to Delta, and a three-pointer launched, no good by Ramsey, and a tip out for Blackhawk. 2-on-2, down to the basket. Cummings outside the trailer. It is Wood, and he'll bury a three with the left hand. Kyler Wood Great transition ball. Pushed it to the basket, got cut off, and then pivoted to look for the trailer and found him. A 4-point lead for Blackhawk, their biggest of the game, and it comes with just under 4 minutes on the clock. Bragg on the arc. Picks up his bounce. Now has to throw left to Lynch. Back to the right side to Chase Phillips. Off the wing, Bragg takes it to the right elbow. Outside, Phillips will give it to Lynch, left wing. Lynch across the top of the key. Got a couple pushes, no call. And Lynch still on the bounce. They go down low. Here's the big man, Johnson, and he'll power in against Cummings, who can't play a lot of defense because the 2 fouls, and Johnson plays it in. 19-17. Braves still lead it by 2 with 3:17 remaining in the second quarter, and a timeout is called. We'll take a break. You're listening to Class 3A Regional Championship Basketball, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. It's a Delta team that is looking for their 4th straight regional title and trying to get their 3rd here at Newcastle. Meanwhile, for the Blackhawk Christian Braves, so much success in 1A and 2A with state championship trophies adorning the bookshelves at Blackhawk Christian. But in 3A last year, they were beaten by this Delta team at the regional level. They're trying to get payback today. A young squad loaded with a strong sophomore class. And on the dribble, it is Kyler Wood, and it looks like Blackhawk is going to try to get Delta to come out of the zone defense. They're lined up in a 2-3, and so far they're still packed in. And just dribbling the ball near midcourt, it is Kyler Wood. And now they come out and they'll pick up man-to-man. Pass outside to Sefton. They're trying to draw Walker Johnson away from the basket. He's got to come out and guard Sefton, or Sefton's just going to hold the ball. Again, no shot clock, high school basketball in Indiana. So Blackhawk playing the cat and mouse game here, trying to get Delta to extend the defense. O'Neal has it, right wing, back to Sefton, and he'll take it high half court. Johnson half follows Sefton. Sefton will give it up to Kyler Wood. Sefton sets the screen. Pass to the left side to Knox. Knox to Sefton, top of the key. Kick out, O'Neal firing his 3. No good. Rebound Delta. Chance for the Eagles to tie or take the lead. 19-17. Blackhawk leads it by 2 as we go under 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Lynch outside the top of the key, drifts the dribble to the right, now picks up the bounce, goes low post to Phillips. Phillips pounds into the chest of his defender, got some space, then lost the handle. The ball knocked away. Good defense down low by Blackhawk Christian. And that was Riker Knox. Caught in the post, man-to-man. He's 5'8", and he was matched up against the 6'3" Chase Phillips, and he won the battle by knocking the ball away. Blackhawk Christian front court, 2-point lead, minute and a half. And again, Sefton is going to put the ball on his hip, just hold it near midcourt. Going to force Walker Johnson to come outside that 3-point line and play some defense. Delta right now just hands on hips, content to sit back as we're ticking down toward the 1 minute mark of our second quarter. Blackhawk 19, Delta 17. For all those that advocate for a shot clock, these are the moments they will reference. Sefton just holding the ball, 49 seconds. Sefton finally will put it on the deck. He'll bounce it, but he's not moving toward the basket because no one's guarding him. He'll give it off to Wood. Kyler Wood between the circles, popping out high post. Sefton gets it right back to Wood with 29 seconds. 2-point lead for Blackhawk. Now we're down to 23 with Wood just holding the ball near the center circle. To Knox, right back to Wood. They play a little catch at the timeline, and now we're down to 11 seconds. Blackhawk starts the offense. Sefton gets it foul line. Kicks it outside. It's a three on the way for Knox. Way too strong. Rebound tipped around. It goes to Delta. 1 second. Three-quarter court shot. It misses short and right. And the teams go to the locker room with Blackhawk Christian holding a 2-point lead over the Delta Eagles. At the break, 19-17. Braves over Delta. We're going to come back here to the Newcastle Fieldhouse on the other side of the break. Hopefully we'll have some stats. I don't know if they're keeping stats here at Newcastle, but we'll see what we have, and we will come back. We've got a second half of basketball to decide a Class 3A regional at the Fieldhouse. And at halftime, Blackhawk leading it 19-17 over Delta. You're listening to our coverage of the Class 3A Regional Championship, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Welcome back to the Newcastle Fieldhouse in Newcastle, Indiana at Newcastle High School. I am Brett Rump with our studio producer, Austin Fox. Halftime, and Blackhawk leading it over the Delta Eagles, 19-17. One other 3A regional in progress at Logansport. New Haven has a 29-19 lead over West Lafayette with 3:59 remaining in the second quarter. Delta will have the ball to start the second half, so the Eagles right off the jump are going to have a chance to tie or take the lead. Eagles scored the first 7 points of the ball game. Blackhawk then had to battle back, and they have had control since the start of the second quarter. Here's a pass down low. It goes to the big man, Walker Johnson. Will turn around jump hook with the left hand. No good. And the rebound to Blackhawk. Johnson, 6'7", 250 freshman. Just want to look around and find all the college coaches that got to be taking a look at this guy. Sefton will drive to the basket, and it's denied by Walker Johnson. There he shows what he can do at the defensive end. Inbound for Blackhawk. Sefton fires for three. It's short, and the rebound to Johnson of Delta. 19-17. 2-point lead for Blackhawk. Delta in the front court. Lynch sends it toward the corner to Bragg. Comes up on the wing with the dribble. Then goes right down low to Johnson. Johnson working left block. Turns. Fakes again, and then lays it in. Walker Johnson, patient down the low block. Ties the score at 19 apiece. Just about a minute into our third quarter. Blackhawk in their home white uniforms. Left wing it goes to Cummings. Rotated through Wood to Knox. He'll fire a three. No. Sefton with big hustle drives to the basket and goes for the rebound, but it bounces off Sefton and goes to Delta. Delta a chance to lead. Lynch outside to Ramsey. Now Phillips has it top of the key, giving it off to Lynch. Lynch works the dribble, then bounces it right back down low. Johnson tried to throw it across from left block to right block, and it goes out of bounds. Delta trying to say it was deflected, but the officials not buying it. So it'll go to Blackhawk Christian with 6.5 minutes left in the third. 19 apiece, all tied up. Blackhawk right to left into the front court. It is Kyler Wood on the dribble. Throws left to O'Neal. Jaden O'Neal to Wood. Now it goes through Knox right back to Kyler Wood. Wood patiently working. Just 8 feet inside the half-court line. On the dribble, he goes in the paint to Sefton, back outside. Extra pass to Knox. He wanted to fire, didn't pull the trigger. Now it's back outside to Wood, to Knox. Riker Knox dribbles all the way around the arc. Baseline, it goes to O'Neal. He'll drive, he'll hang, and he's going to get a whistle. That's the third foul against Walker Johnson, the 6'7" freshman big for Delta.
Walker Johnson, that is his third. First on the Eagles.
2 free throws for Jaden O'Neal, the 6'4" senior, with a chance to put Blackhawk back on top. 54% on the season, and free throw number 1 is a swish. 13. It's going to force Mark Detweiler to go to his bench, replace Walker Johnson here early in the third. 5:50 still remaining. 3 fouls on the big freshman. He was obviously a big part of the game plan here in the third quarter. They were feeding the post every offensive possession. Second free throw, halfway down, it pops out for O'Neal. And a 1-point Blackhawk lead as Delta brings it in the front court. Lynch to Bragg. Gives it off to Phillips. Phillips outside the top of the key. Right wing to Lynch. Lynch can't get past the aggressive defense of Riker Knox. Now it's back on the perimeter between the circles to Bragg. Right wing to Phillips. Phillips, little crossover, baseline drive, gets under the basket, muscles it up, didn't get a call, and the rebound goes to Blackhawk. Braves quickly, front court, Cummings, baseline left, up top to Wood. Tyler Wood will hold the ball for a moment, let everybody get set up, start the offense. Left wing to Sefton. Sefton cross courts it. Knox 30 feet out, won't fire the three, so he'll take the dribble to the logo at midcourt. Throw back to the right to Kyler Wood. Now Knox. Back to Wood. They play catch 35 feet from the hoop. Wood will come off a Cummings screen. Top of the key, gives it on the pop to Cummings. In the corner to O'Neal. Back up top to Kyler Wood. Wood on the dribble. Drifts left of the key. Back to the right to Cummings. Cummings cross courts it to O'Neal. O'Neal picks up the bounce. Gives it outside to Knox. Knox will take the dribble left to right all the way to the wing. Had it knocked away. Ball three on the deck. Here's a scrum and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Blackhawk. Turnover for the Braves. We'll give it to the Eagles with a 20-19 Blackhawk advantage. Halfway through our third quarter and a foul in the backcourt, and the fans for Delta loving that. A little Bronx cheer. They feel like they've been getting the short end of the whistles. In the backcourt, Riker Knox picks up his first foul. So the inbound for Delta. They got a chance to get back on top. Down by one. Left to right. Lynch will run the point. 5'8" sophomore point guard for Delta. Gives it to Lucas Bragg, who hit the midcourt logo. Hands it off to Ramsey. He fires it back to the left wing and missed Bragg. It goes through Bragg. Missed timing on that bullet pass. Bragg really didn't have his head fully turned around, and so it's turnover for Delta. And with a 1-point Blackhawk lead, Braves get the ball back. Cummings up top to Wood. High post, they go to Sefton. Sefton from the elbow. Skips it out left wing to O'Neal. Back up top, Sefton. Lobs down low. Going alley-oop. Wood goes up, catches it in flight, and tries to put it to the basket as he gets hammered. And it's a foul on Delta that will put Kyler Wood to the charity stripe. An even 50% free throw shooter this season. Wood averaging 3.6 points per game. And he's good on the first. 21-19. 3:42 to play, third quarter here at Newcastle. Second free throw. It's up, and that one will flush down the drain. Count the bucket on the swirl through the hoop. And a 3-point Blackhawk lead. Mark Detweiler wants to talk about something with his ball club, so he'll take a timeout with 3:37 to play third quarter. 22-19, Braves leading it over the Delta Eagles. You're listening to the Class 3A Regional Championship from Newcastle, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Delta inbounds, down by 3. Outside it goes to Lucas Bragg. Their leading scorer will flip it off on the wing to Lynch. Lynch on the perimeter to Phillips. Bragg has it right wing. Coming off of the Phillips screen. He's moving, but there's no call. The pass goes across where it is now Jackson Peters. And again, they'll rotate it right side. Lynch into the paint. Spins, scoops it, and scores it. Ryan Lynch got into the middle of the lane, and then with the pivot, the scoop, and the score, makes it 22-21. Here's Sefton outside to Knox. Knox with the dribble all the way up to the big Trojan head logo at midcourt. The green and white of Newcastle High School. Kyler Wood Long skip across the defense to O'Neal. Now up top to Knox. 22-21. Blackhawk leads it with 2.5 to play in the third. Wood, high post. It goes to Cummings. Oh, give and go. Wood had it tipped away. It gets it back. Throws to O'Neal in the corner, and his right corner triple is off the mark. Here comes Delta. They got a chance to take the lead. They're down 1. Lynch outside the arc. Step back 3 on the way. Swish. 5 straight points for Ryan Lynch, the 5'8 sophomore, and Delta back on top 24-22. 2 minutes left in the third. Between the circles, Tyler Wood looks right wing, brings it back to the left to Knox. Riker Knox to Wood. Wood dribbles to the right angle, picks up the bounce, goes down low, and the pass short, trying to get it to the post, and is deflected away and stolen by Delta. Minute and a half. Lynch front court. He scored 5 in a row to give his team the lead. Bragg, right wing, it goes to Phillips. He'll hand it off to Lynch. The hot hand. Lynch will dribble up top and between the circles, flip the ball to Peters. Still playing catch around the perimeter, and I think Mark Detweiler wants to actually try to drain the last minute of this quarter. Delta's up by 2. Peters to Bragg, left wing to Lynch. Lynch off a screen. They get it to Ramsey. His 3 in and out, no good. And the rebound to Blackhawk Christian. And now there's 50 seconds remaining in the quarter. And Delta a 2-point lead. Blackhawk front court. Sefton up top to Knox. Riker Knox splits the circles and throws right to Wood. The lefty throws a pass right to Lynch. Bad pass by Wood. Easy steal with 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and Delta already up by 2. Blackhawk led it at halftime, 19-17. But Delta has taken control in the third quarter. 24-22. We're down to 10 seconds, and Lynch on the dribble, top of the key. Picks up the bounce. Right wing. It goes to Ramsey. Then Lynch lost his balance. Ball poked away. It's gathered in by Delta. And they try to call a timeout with 0.2 of a second. The official raised his hand. Let's see if they're giving him a timeout. And I think they're calling the end of the quarter. It is the end of the quarter. They were going to give him the timeout with 0.2 on the clock, but the clock expires, so we're through 3 here at Newcastle. And the Delta Eagles now lead it over Blackhawk Christian 24-22. Our fourth quarter comes up next. It's high school basketball presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Blackhawk starts the quarter with a possession, down by 2, 24-22 to the Delta Eagles. Eagles looking for their 4th consecutive regional championship. Big possession to start the quarter. Blackhawk a chance to tie or take the lead. It is Wood, right wing. Throws it left wing to O'Neal. Baseline, Sefton, the drive, the reverse layup, and he left it short. And the rebound tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Blackhawk Christian. 7:32 to play. Delta 24, Blackhawk Christian 22. Class 3A regional championship game. Ryan Lynch, front court. Picked up by Riker Knox. They go into the paint. Here's Johnson. Johnson working left block. Turns into the lane, and a foul, a hold called on Blackhawk. No real foul trouble to speak of for Blackhawk. Delta's Walker Johnson, their 6'7" freshman, does have 3 fouls starting this fourth quarter. That foul was whistled on Elliott Cummings. Inbound for Delta, leading by 2. Phillips, top of the key. Hands it off to Lynch. Lynch, a shot fake, takes it to the right elbow, now drifts out behind the arc. Swings the corner man off to the other side. Lynch will take it all the way near the timeline. Still on the dribble. He's forcing the defense to come out and guard him. Kyler Wood comes out, applies a little pressure, and Lynch takes it to the right wing. Lynch still on the dribble. The 5'8 sophomore. Phillips right back to Lynch. 6.5 minutes. Lynch crossover between the circles, bounces it down low to Johnson, and wide open across the lane is Chase Phillips. That has worked throughout the game for Delta because Blackhawk has committed the double on Johnson and nobody rotates to pick up Phillips. 26-22, a 4-point lead. It's the biggest lead since it was 7-3 about midway through the first quarter. Blackhawk on the dribble. Delta sets up in the zone. Wood crosses it to Knox. Knox takes the dribble to the center circle. Now throws back to the right wing. Cummings, baseline it goes to Wood. He's doubled. He dribbles under the basket. Tries to force up a shot. Didn't get it. It was blocked. Johnson came over on help defense. And now Delta with a 4-point advantage has the basketball with 5.5 to play. Lynch on the perimeter with the dribble. The sophomore crosses over center circle. Takes it toward the left side of the lane and a hold on that drive by Blackhawks. Riker Knox.
Number 10, Riker Knox. That is
he picks up his first foul. That is the second foul of the quarter on Blackhawk. On the perimeter, here's Lynch to the foul line. Stops in the middle of the lane. Back to the basket, throws outside to Walker Johnson. The big man will give it off to a guard 33 feet from the basket, and it's Lynch. Lynch, high post pass to Johnson. Back to Lynch. Thought about the three, didn't take it. Had that little flare after he threw the pass to Johnson. Now they'll go Johnson, low block. Turns in the lane, goes up with the right-handed jump hook and banks it in. 28-22 Delta in the lane is Wood. Gives to Sefton, cutting, hanging, throwing up a right-handed jump hook over Johnson. It's no good, and the rebound goes to Delta. And it's been a long time since we've seen Blackhawk Christian with points. Bragg between the circles. Phillips sends it left wing to Lynch. 6-point lead halfway through the fourth. Lynch for three. No, it's too strong. Rebound tipped by Walker Johnson, but he went over the back. And that's a foul number 4, I believe. It is the 4th foul on Walker Johnson. 6'7" big, just got too aggressive. Blackhawk Christian had him boxed out. He tried to go over the back. Got called for it. First foul of the quarter on Blackhawk on Delta. And so Blackhawk with the ball down by 6. They get in the front court, call the timeout. 28-22. It is Delta leading it over Blackhawk Christian with 4:08 still to be played. You're listening to the Class 3A Regional Championship game presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. A 5-point run by Delta's Ryan Lynch, a 5'8 sophomore, averages 9.7 points per game, but he hit a three and then hit a difficult driving basket, and that completely flipped this game. Gave Delta the advantage, and they have extended it now to 6 points, 28-22 with 4:08 remaining. This game certainly at the scoring pace that Delta wants it to be. They're fine with a game in the 30s or 40s. They won last year 45-43. Pass to midcourt. Cummings goes up, catches it. Now it goes on the wing. Wood outside to O'Neal. O'Neal on the bounce pass to Knox, left wing. He'll center the circles. Throw right side to Wood. They get O'Neal down low. He'll hang and lay it in off the window. Jaden O'Neal makes it 28-24. Front court with 3.5 minutes left. Lynch gives to Phillips. Blackhawks going to have to come out and guard. They got to speed the pace of this game up, and they will pick up man-to-man, and that's going to create a foul. Tyler Wood of Blackhawk bumps into Lynch on the perimeter. That is Blackhawk's third foul of the fourth quarter. It is the second foul on the board for Kyler Wood. Said it's his third, I think, on the PA. 28-24, 3:12 clock runs. Lynch on the dribble. Works from the center circle. Oh, a big collision. Lynch gets into the paint. Now a double team. Ball knocked away, and it's a timeout. As Mark Detweiler, Delta's coach, knew that Lynch was in trouble in the lane, surrounded by Braves, and he bails him out with a timeout call. 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here. Remind you that coming up at 4 o'clock right here on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM will be the 4A Regional Championship game between the Carmel Greyhounds and the Snyder Panthers. Snyder, winners of 5 straight games, looking for their second regional championship all time under third-year coach Josh Raikkonen. Carmel, meanwhile, pulled the biggest upset in the state last week. And Carmel, no disrespect, they're a very good basketball team, but I think most of the media around the state expected Fishers would just cruise to a 4A state title after an undefeated regular season. And Carmel knocked them off in the sectional championship game to earn their ticket to Newcastle this afternoon. Carmel Snyder coming up 4 o'clock today. 28-24. Delta has the ball with under 3 minutes left. Lynch on the perimeter. Gives to Phillips. Phillips between the circles. Spins at the top of the key. Gives it off to Johnson outside the free throw line. He'll hand it to Lynch. Lynch brings it right wing. Gives to Ramsey. Right back to Lynch. Little game of keep away right now. We're down to 2:34 left. Lynch drives. Big collision, and it's going to be a blocking foul called on Blackhawk Christian on the drive to the basket as Knox tried to get in front of Lynch and draw the offensive foul. Just, it's ruled that he didn't quite get there. So that is the fourth foul on Blackhawk. So Delta will go to the line for 2 free throws every subsequent foul on Blackhawk Christian. Inbound goes to Johnson. He has to leave the low post to catch it. So he goes outside to Bragg, and Bragg will give it up to Phillips. Phillips to Lynch. Ryan Lynch with 2:16 and the clock running goes low post to Johnson. Johnson looks for a double. It won't come, and so he'll spin, throw it up, and get it from down low. Walker Johnson, the freshman, with a huge bucket to make it a 6-point lead with 2 minutes left. O'Neal, center circle to Wood. Knox has it left side, back up top to Wood. Wood against the zone, drives into the lane, puts it up, got a whistle. The ball didn't fall. But Kyler Wood is going to shoot a couple of free throws. The foul on Lucas Bragg of Delta. Clock stops with 1:48 left and a 30-24 Delta lead. And Wood good on the first free throw. Kyler Wood, a 6-foot sophomore. Second one. Got that one. 30-26, 1:48. Blackhawk Christian shows pressure. It's not tight. They'll pick up about 3/4 court. Lynch. Remember, Blackhawk on the next foul will be sending Delta to the line. So if you're fouling, you got to pick who you foul. Lynch, an 85% free throw shooter, would not be the guy. And they foul Lynch. A reach-in foul on Riker Knox is going to put an 85% free throw shooter to the free throw line.
Delta's now on the bonus. Ryan Lynch in the line, shooting 2 shots.
Fourth foul on Riker Knox of Blackhawk. So to the line, Ryan Lynch. Shooting 2, and the first one is good. Look at some of the percentages for Delta, and it's just absolutely the wrong guy. Chase Phillips, 47% on the year. Walker Johnson, 45%. And a timeout's going to be called by Matt Roth. So Blackhawk will discuss what they want to do down by 5 with minute 27 remaining. Once again, coming up at 4 o'clock, it's going to be the Class 4A Regional Championship between Snyder and Carmel. It's a game of representing Snyder out of the Summit Athletic Conference, Fort Wayne Community Schools, out of Allen County, against Hamilton County's Carmel Greyhounds. At the line, second free throw for Lynch is up and good. So the 85% free throw shooter makes both. 6-point lead, 32-26, minute 27 to play. Front court, Wood off of the screen, top of the key, gives it to Sefton. He thought about the three, didn't take it. Now it's Wood. Wood spins in the lane, drives, scoops, and scores. Timeout, Matt Roth. Nice drive and a reach with that left hand to scoop it up. So it's 32-28, minute 14 left. We'll take a break. High school basketball presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Minute 14 remaining here at Newcastle. Class 3A Regional Championship game with Delta leading at 32-28 over the Blackhawk Christian Braves. Braves looking for their 9th overall regional championship. Full court press is on. Bragg gets it to Lynch. Lynch a crossover, gets across the timeline. Not much time to spare, and then they foul Lynch. The foul is on Drake Sefton. Tough thing for Blackhawk. You got to force Lynch to give it up and then attack somebody else, because Lynch is almost automatic at the free throw line. Just made 2 from there a moment ago with a 4-point lead. The first free throw is good. I've tried every jinx I have in my bag, and they're not working on Delta's Ryan Lynch. Second free throw, up and good. 34-28, 1:04 remaining. Front court, Blackhawk. Wood in the lane. Will put it up with the left hand on the run and bank it in. Quick bucket for Kyler Wood, 34-30. There's the guy you can foul. Bragg, 76%. He gave it up momentarily, and a timeout called by Mark Detweiler. And I think that timeout was because he had 2 free throw shooters. He really didn't want to be shooting free throws that were playing catch, trying to break the pressure, and they were denying Ryan Lynch. So with the timeout, he'll be able to set up an inbound to try to get it right back into Ryan Lynch's hands. So a timeout with 45.8 seconds remaining here at Newcastle. 34-30. It's a 4-point lead for Delta. We'll take a timeout. You're listening to high school basketball presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. They're through 3 quarters in the Class 3A Regional Logansport, and New Haven is up on West Lafayette 40-33. And there's the inbound. It goes to Madden Ramsey, and he's fouled quickly. Ramsey, not much of a sample size. He's been to the line 6 times this year. He has made all 6, but he's going to the line in a pressure situation in a 4-point game. 35-30, he makes the first. Ramsey, a 6'1 junior, bends the knees and makes the second. Delta looking to win their 11th game in their last 13. Here's a drive all the way to the basket, and the left-handed scoop, no good this time for Wood. Rebound Delta, and they foul Lynch with 35.5 seconds, and that might be the dagger for the Blackhawk Christian Braves. 36-30. 6-point lead for Delta with 35.5 seconds. And Ryan Lynch, huge game for Delta, stepping to the free throw line. The sophomore flips the first and got it. 37-30. This could give Delta their biggest lead of the game, and the biggest since it was 7-0 at the start of the contest, and it's good. 38-30. 35 seconds left. Here comes Blackhawk. They're going to have to start launching some threes, and Delta will commit the foul. They've got fouls to give. It's only their third of the fourth quarter. So Matt Roth will take a timeout. 31.3 seconds remaining, and it's Delta with a 38-30 lead over Blackhawk Christian. You're listening to the Class 3A Regional Championship at Newcastle, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Solid second half for the Delta Eagles. They've come from behind, and now they're extending their lead by being perfect at the charity stripe. Most of those from sophomore Ryan Lynch. It is 38-30. Delta over Blackhawk with 31.3 seconds on the clock. Blackhawk inbounds. Noss outside the top of the key, hands it to Sefton. He'll drive, he'll kick. In the corner, the three on the way. It's too strong for Cummings, and the rebound gets grabbed by Walker Johnson of Delta. And, of course, he immediately gives it to Lynch, who gets fouled. 15.4 seconds. Mr. Automatic stepping to the free throw line to shoot two more. He's 8 for 8 at the free throw line here in the fourth quarter. First free throw's up and good. Hasn't touched the rim on any of them. And Delta's going to empty the bench. 9-point lead with 15.4 seconds left. And Matt Morey into the game. Deacon Blevins. Morey, a senior. Second free throw is good, as if I had to tell you. And it's 40-30. 3 on the way for Wood. It's an air ball out of bounds. Goes right back to Delta. 8.5 seconds, 40-30. And now more guys have been located at the end of the bench for Delta. Delta enters number 1, who's not even on the roster. And Cole Minette, a senior, that's going to get a chance to dribble into the front court. So the senior will enjoy a regional championship. And what's unique about that, it's 4 in a row for Delta. So for the seniors, only a couple of them on Delta, they finished their high school careers knowing nothing but regional titles. Their 4th consecutive is in the books here at Newcastle. Final score 40-30. Delta defeats Blackhawk Christian. And Delta advances to next week's Class 3A semi-state. Well, Blackhawk sees their season end with a 20-8 record. Delta will advance now 16-10, winners of 11 of their last 13 games. We'll take a break, and we will come back at Newcastle. You're listening to the Class 3A Regional Championship presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Back at Newcastle, where the Blackhawk Christian Braves fall in a Class 3A Regional Championship to the Delta Eagles, 40-30. Well, Delta getting some team photos. They're going to be cutting down some nets. And we are about an hour and 40 minutes away from the tip of a Class 4A regional championship between the Snyder Panthers and the Carmel Greyhounds. We will have coverage right here on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM, starting with our pregame around 3:50 p.m. This game was Delta early. They raced out to the first 7 points of the ball game, but Blackhawk found their footing and actually led 19-17 at the half. They never could pull away from Delta, but they maintained control through most of the third quarter. But then in the fourth, it was Delta getting 5 straight points from Ryan Lynch. He is their hero, the 5'8 sophomore who averages 9.7 points per game. Hit a 3, hit a driving bucket, and the game flipped, and Delta found themselves on top by 3 and eventually pulled away and win it with their largest margin through the entire game at 10 points. So Blackhawk Christian sees their season come to an end. They still hold a streak of 9 consecutive sectional titles, something that they added to and picked up their 9th last week. But they fall short here in the regional for the 2nd consecutive year, and they do it to the same opponent 2 years in a row, as they lose to Delta 45-43 a year ago and 40-30 here at Newcastle this afternoon. Coming up, Carmel and Snyder, and we hope you jump on and join us for that. And as a reminder, with high school basketball coverage on 1380 The Fan, we will have Purdue basketball as they're into the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament in Chicago. And Purdue will take on UCLA. That is scheduled for approximately a 3:30 tip. And we will have full coverage from the Purdue Radio Network on our sister station, 92.3 FM. That's 92.3 FM for the Purdue Boilermakers against the UCLA Bruins. And in the first semifinal, Michigan holds a 37-31 lead over Wisconsin with about 15 and a half minutes remaining. So as Delta celebrates, we say thank you so much for tuning in, and thanks to all of our sponsors. Also a big thanks to Austin Fox for being our studio producer this afternoon. We're back with you at Newcastle at 3:50 for Snyder and Carmel. I am Brett Rump. Again, our final score in our first regional championship here was Blackhawk Christian falling to the Delta Eagles 40-30. You have been listening to IHSAA State Tournament Basketball, the Class 3A Regional, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.